Hey, everybody. Grant Miller here, Miami Community News. I'm with Bryan Calvo.
Calvo.
Wow. You're from Miami? You born and raised?
Born and raised in Hialeah.
I like that. I say Miami, you say Hialeah. Well,
Well, let's be precise.
let's be precise. I tell people that Miami is its own country.
Yeah.
And Hialeah, for sure, is its own country. I love Hialeah. We just talked about the #1 Jewish deli in the 50s. We're at Stevens and the racetrack. There's so much history in Hialeah.
There is.
People really don't realize it was Opelika, Hialeah, Miami Springs.
Mm-hmm.
Great history. All right, so let's talk. You're running for tax collector.
Running for tax collector. Yeah, everybody's favorite position,
Yeah, and this is the first time in 60 years?
It's the first time in a very long time that it's going to be elected, and it's such an important position because even though it might have the name of an existing office, really this is the first time it's going to exist in the way it does because of all the new powers that it's going to have. It's essentially going to consolidate what I would say maybe 20% of the county mayor's powers right now, and then add into that some of the state offices.
Wait, start over. So the mayor now runs the tax collector office.
The mayor is essentially the tax collector, the way she is the sheriff. She obviously has a director and a department that manages the day-to-day, but she's ultimately that position. And in 2018, the voters decided to approve the new constitutional amendment, creating the 5 constitutional offices that are all up for grabs this year. So one of those is tax collector. And, I would say it's basically 3 things that this office is going to do. It's going to be in charge of collecting the property taxes in Miami-Dade County. We're talking about $8.5 billion worth of taxes. This person is also going to be in charge of the DMV locations, so the driver's license offices in Dade County, which we have 9 of them. This office will administer them, decide if they want to add more offices, and how they're going to process these licenses moving forward. And then the third largest role is the business, the LBT, the business tax receipt. So this person will issue business licenses in our community. So those are the 3 main functions. There's a laundry list more. Hunting and fishing permits, stroller parking permits. They will manage the bed tax. They'll manage
bed tax for hotels.
For hotels.
Yeah. So you manage. That's huge.
It's huge. It's a huge.
And the
department.
homeless trust.
So a lot of the money that goes in from the bed tax goes and gets funneled to the homeless trust. That's right.
This is huge. How many employees are there, you said?
Right now, there's 213 employees. But when you get the DMV under your watch, you're going to have over 400 employees.
And who manages DMV now?
Right now, it's managed by the state. And
they're giving it to the city.
They're giving it to the county. That's right. Pursuant to state statute.
Wow. It's bigger than I thought. Okay, let's talk about you.
Yeah.
Okay. You're born and raised in Hialeah. What elementary school did you go to?
North Twin Lakes Elementary School.
Favorite teacher?
Probably Miss Garcia.
Okay. Middle school?
Middle school, Palm Springs Middle.
Palm Springs.
Yeah.
Middle school. Who's your favorite teacher?
Mr. Cruz.
High school?
Westland Hialeah Senior High School.
Now, you were there the 4th year that it was open?
It was the 4th. Well, I was the 4th graduating class. So, yeah.
So I know you went next stage. You went to Harvard. What was your GP at your high school?
In high school, I had a 7.8 GPA, something like that. 7.8. It was countywide, the highest GPA at the time. I was definitely the valedictorian of my school.
Okay, so I guess you're pretty smart. When did your parents realize you were smart?
I don't know. I actually started school a year early. I started kindergarten when I was 3. And so when I graduated at 17. And I was gifted, from kindergarten on.
But did you know as a kid?
No, it's just things come easy to you. You don't have to work as hard. You don't have to necessarily study as hard. But, I always had, immigrant Cuban parents that push you to work hard. So I had both.
I'm jumping around. I heard one of the Moss brothers say, you want to be successful?
Yeah.
Live and work like an immigrant.
Yeah.
Think like an immigrant.
Mm-hmm.
Because now you're not an immigrant, but your parents were.
Right.
I'm 4 generations out. I mean, when you think about your parents coming over, your father came over in the 80s.
In the 80s, yeah.
How he had to think to be successful. So that's,
it's an inner fire that you have to have. Correct. An inner fire to want to work hard and succeed. And this country has enormous potential, to be able to do those things. I mean, a kid from Hialeah being able to go to Harvard, full ride. I didn't pay a dime.
Housing and everything.
What's that?
Housing, everything.
Housing, everything, food, everything. They even give you a coat fund to buy your first winter coat and boots.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay, so your mother's Colombian, your dad's Cuban.
that's right.
You're at Harvard.
Yeah.
How many Cubans or Colombians were there at Harvard?
Not too many. My year was something like 4 or 5. But
How many students are there?
there's about 1,600 students on campus for the undergrad. The grad school is much larger. But we did have a Cuban club, believe it or not.
How many people were at 3?
Yeah, a very small amount. It was called Calsa. Yeah.
How great. Did you meet once a week, once a month?
It was delegated to once a month. But funny enough, I was also president of the salsa team at Harvard. So we would meet on a weekly basis. And there we had people from all backgrounds, Asian background, Anglo, and we would teach them how to dance, keep the music.
Wow. That's pretty impressive. Okay, so you finished Harvard. What was your GP?
Harvard, I graduated with 3.0.
Then you went to law school.
Well, in between that, I did the White House internship. So that was 2018.
Wait. So after you graduated Harvard, you did an internship.
Yeah, well, technically it was my junior year. I was a rising senior. And so over a summer, I did, what's called the WHIP internship, White House internship. It's a highly selective. I think getting there was harder than getting into Harvard, believe it or not, because they only have, a small number of spots for thousands and thousands of people that want to work at the White House. And you literally get an office. You get an office in the building. You have to go through this like 6-month security clearance and the whole 9 yards. But you're sitting there and you're watching Marine One land in the South Lawn. I mean, you're
a Cuban kid from Hialeah.
I was the only kid from Florida in that internship, I believe, and I'd certainly the only one from Hialeah. I think probably in that internship's history. I think that internship was created in the 60s. Yeah.
When you tell people you're from Hialeah, they go, "Where's that?
Where the hell's that?"
You're right. So pretty exciting. Okay, so you finished your internship and then you applied to law school.
I applied to law school. I only applied to 2 schools, UM and FIU. I wanted to come back to Miami and the heat and all that good stuff.
You or your mom wanted you home?
What's that?
Was it you the one?
No. I was done with the winters. I was done with the winters. I was, I wanted, and I love fishing.
Are you the only child?
Only child.
Okay.
Yeah, I love fishing. I love boating. I love all those things. So I wanted to be back in Miami. At the time, it wasn't a popular decision because most of my colleagues and stuff from Harvard went to New York. They went to San Francisco and stuff like that. Now everybody wants to come down here. They realize how great this is. But I applied to those 2 schools. I got into both, and I picked FIU, which right now is the best law school in Florida. It's considered the best law school in Florida. And so I did my 3 years, but I was a part-time student the whole time. So I didn't go to law school during the day. I would go in the evenings.
But you're part-time. Did it take you more than 3 years?
It took me 3.5 years.
Were you working?
I was working.
Where were you working?
So again, I love politics, and so I started with a small city council race in Hialeah, where I was basically like the right hand to the candidate, and learning, right? Because I had learned.
Did your candidate win?
No, he didn't.
That's better because you learn
you learn to lose, right?
Well, you learn everything what not to do.
Right. So because I had learned the political theory, right? I had gone to the Kennedy School of Government. I had learned all these things and how to run a campaign, how to do that. But then you're in Hialeah and you're knocking on the door, and it's humbling, right? Because you're asking somebody their vote, and and you're thinking you have all these points as to why they should elect you and why you're the most prepared. Well, I wasn't the candidate, but you have that list, and the person will be like, okay, that's great, but I have a pothole. Are you gonna fix my pothole, right? And I love that. I love that local politics part of it.
So Xavier Suarez is the mayor of Miami.
Yeah,
he was
also a Harvard guy, by the way.
I know. He's told me plenty of times. But he was the pothole mayor.
Yeah.
He took care of that stuff. They worshipped him.
Yeah.
You got a pothole? Hold on. Hey, public safety, public service. As Senator Soto was the county commissioner in what we call Westchester.
Right.
He would take care of those little things. And that's why local governments are important.
Right.
And people want to know, I got a problem here. Take care of it. So Xavier Suarez was called the pothole mayor, and Soto, his whole team was out picking up shopping carts, picking up trash, making our community a better place. Okay, so then you graduate,
Right.
pass the bar.
Well, technically, no. I was in my second year of law school when I decided I want to run for office now. And so I thrust myself into the political arena.
And how old were you?
I was 23 years old.
When you ran, you were 23 or 22?
I was 20. Well, technically, when I made the decision, I was 22.
Okay.
I was 23 by the time the election came over. And so I decided, okay, how am I going to win this election? And so what do? You reach out to the politicians and you're like, hey, who's going to endorse me? Who's going to support me? No one did, by the way.
Of course, you're 22. you're a Harvard grad, so you're already out of the pocket like Strange. Like, where's Harvard?
So I said, okay, fine. I'll do it myself. Hard work, right? And it took me 11 months. I knocked every single day, and a lot of people BS this, but it's true. I knocked every single day, Monday through Sunday.
How much weight did you lose?
About 50 pounds. Yeah, for real. And so I ended up knocking 15,000 doors.
You know when somebody loses weight that they're really knocking on doors.
Yeah, that's how you can tell.
So it changed your perspective of politics when you knocked on 15,000 doors.
Absolutely.
Because I tell people all the time, says to me in little local elections, I go, after you knock on 500 doors, come back and talk to me. Until then, I don't want to talk to you.
Yeah.
Because everybody says they want to run. You got to knock on doors. You got to let people know that you're out there, and you want to know the problems. Because when you walk on the streets,
right,
you see the problems.
You see the problems. You hear it over and over again from the residents. And by the way, this whole thing about like special interests and stuff like that, when you knock that much, you're like, wow, I'm really going to do this for the right reasons, because you have to be committed. The salary is a meager salary.
How much is Hialeah's salary?
$40,000.
That's a part-time.
It's part-time. I mean, but nobody can really do it part-time. You have to do more.
No matter what, it's like county commissioners, they get paid $6,000 and they're spending 50 hours a week. You're spending 40, 50 hours a week as a commissioner in Hialeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a lot of money because
because we're at large too. We don't have a district. We're running in the full 300,000 person city. I mean, it's not like Miami. It's like way easier. We had over 25,000 people come out and vote in my year.
Correct. Hialeah. Some cities, Pinecrest is $1. Some cities, but Hialeah, you still have to work hard. Even though it's a volunteer position, but it's not.
Listen to this. This is actually, it's harder to get in. If you look at the numbers, it's harder to get into the Hialeah Council than it is to become a state rep. Because of the size, we have 3 state rep districts in Hialeah, but all the council seats run for the entire city.
Correct. All right. So you become a commissioner. You're 23 years old. You're 26 now.
26 now.
So you've been on the council for 3 years. Tell me 3 things you felt that you did really good in Hialeah.
Well, I think
made a difference.
Yeah. Look, the first one was we have seen an unaffordability crisis in this community. Certainly in Hialeah, where people make minimum wage, it's a big issue.
It's a blue collar town.
It's a blue collar town, and you have a home that's a single family home, but there might be 5 families that live there. A lot of immigration.
And by the way, that's what made America great.
Yeah, it's true. So what's happened is, cost of living and all these things have increased, but taxes have increased in our community. And that was the sole voice in the Hialeah City Council. My colleagues, it's a 7-person council. The only person to vote against the tax increase of 2022 and 2023, and fighting very particularly, I'll put this as a second issue, the cost of water and sewer. Hialeah pays the 3rd most expensive cost of water countywide.
But it's your own water company.
We have our own water company, but the water company is a disaster. A total disaster.
So when you just job it out?
They don't want to. I've pushed for that. If we transition over to Miami-Dade water and sewer, we can cut 25%, 30% of the cost of water bill overnight. We're not doing that. We have our own water company. We want to be this independent, but the water we produce is so much more expensive.
Doing it yourself, whatever reason they decided many years ago, you have to save money for the residents. If that's the way to do it, you got to do it. But let's go on. Why are you qualified to be a tax collector?
Well, so I think I'm uniquely qualified. Look, yes, I do have the educational background. I have the fact that I'm an attorney in this community. But more importantly than all those things, I think we're seeing a generational change in politics right now. People want younger people in office. But you also need someone with the experience that says, yeah, I want to do all these great things. I want to improve our community. But now I have the experience as a council member, a proven experience of track record there, where I voted against those tax increases, where I've been very critical of the 911 department. That was the third issue I was going to get into. That was a serious
911 in Hialeah.
In Hialeah, we have our own 911 department as well.
How does that work? If I dial 911 in VG or Opelika, it goes to the county, but your 911 goes to yours. How's that work?
Yeah, there's only a couple cities that have their own 911. Miami does, Miami Beach.
But how does it go?
Hialeah.
How does
it's based on the cell towers? They can geofence where you are, and they'll send you.
So I'm on my mobile phone, and I'm in.
If you're in the center of the city, for sure, you're going to get sent to Hialeah's 911.
Right.
If you're on the border, sometimes it might send you to the wrong one, and then the operator will have to manually switch you over depending on your actual location.
All right. So you got the 911 issue. Let's spend 2 minutes on things that you've done great or you felt you did great for Hialeah. The 911. I want to talk about that.
Yeah. So we get it was about more than a year ago now. We get a bunch of these operators come in, 911 operators. They say we're having a crisis in our department. We don't have enough people. Calls are being dropped. Like there's a huge challenge here. What do? I mean, I do the reasonable thing. I go and I tour the department, speak with the employees, the directors, ask for records, see what's going on. The state mandates a minimum call answer of 90% of calls within 10 seconds have to be answered. That's the minimum standard for the state.
If I ring, it's 10 seconds by the time I start ringing.
Correct. And Hialeah was answering only 67% of the calls within 10 seconds. You weren't getting a 90% answer rate until almost a minute. So you had to literally wait a minute, ring, and imagine an emergency in order to get a call answer. Why? I mean, we had an independent guy look at it, which was the Colina Group, former Chief Colina from the city of Miami. And they're like, look, you need to have a minimum staffing.
Him. I don't know him, but I like him.
You need a minimum staffing of 18 people, and we were staffing 6.
Why?
The pay was abysmal. The starting pay was $15 an hour for a position where you need to be state certified. You need to go through a rigorous training and background screening.
And life and death.
And so we were hiring them, and people were leaving as quickly as we were hiring them. So we didn't have enough people. By the way, in Hialeah, you have to be bilingual because most of your calls are going to be in Spanish. So it was an enormous issue, and I said, let's fix it, right? Forget about who's, at fault here. Let's just fix the damn problem. It's the city's fault. Let's fix the problem. That's why we're here. That's why we got elected. I was basically, they had a special meaning to admonish me and condemn me and say that I was like this horrible person. And I'm coming there with evidence, So I said, look, I'm going to do my own investigation and come up with solutions myself. But these are the documents that I need, public record documents. And that was the famous dilemma, which the city said, for the first time ever, we're going to prevent a sitting council member from receiving public documents. And so that's when I had to sue the mayor. I didn't sue the city, but I sued the mayor, and I said the mayor's preventing me from having access to these documents. I don't want any money.
Wait, so
I just want the documents.
Is 7 commissioners or 5 commissioners?
7.
So 6 of the commissioners voted for you not to get public information.
Absolutely. And they prevented themselves because they passed a resolution saying that if the mayor doesn't approve for you to get public documents, you can't get them unless you pay.
But let's spend a few minutes on this. I'm looking for
makes no sense.
As a councilman, but if you ask for it as a citizen.
Yeah, as a citizen, sure. But what they do is they'll tag a huge bill. So the bill they sent me was $7,000, and they said, this isn't the final bill. This is just for us to start working on it. We'll get back to you in a couple months. And I'm like, well, the crisis is now, and I'm a sitting elected official now. I need this to do my job. That's like charging a police officer for the bullets.
Right. So you ended up winning.
I end up So the council passes that resolution, preventing themselves from receiving the documents. By the time we get to the court, the judge said, "Look, the council already made that decision. I'm not going to go over them." So they kicked the case out, and basically in the end, I didn't get the documents. But the positive side of things is because of all the media attention that this grabbed, we were getting 1 applicant or 2 applicants a month for the position. In 1 week, we got over 150 applicants.
Was it non-Hialeah residents? Why so many?
Well, because people didn't know that, first of all, you can just apply for this and we'll pay for your training. So the city will put you through the training and stuff like that. We were able to raise the pay a little bit. It's not enough by any means. Yeah, but we're at $18 an hour now.
But people, okay, we got that one. Let's move on. That's number 2. Number 3.
Well, that was number 3. The second one was water and sewer, and the first one was the taxes in Hialeah.
Okay, the water and sewer, it's almost like the county, the recycling, the thing that burnt down in Doral.
Yep.
there's opportunities. Maybe the county doesn't need a rebuild. Maybe they job it out.
Yeah, I mean, I had meetings with the county water and sewer director, Director Cawley, and I said,
He's a good guy.
Yeah.
I asked him, I said, what language do you speak? I had him speak. He said, you don't speak English, you don't speak Spanish. Is that Alabama?
So
he's good, right?
He's good. And like I said, we went through the numbers, and it came out that if we switch to county water, we'll save the residents 30% off their water bill. I mean, for the guy that makes $700, $800 Social Security retirement, like, yeah, that's a significant savings.
It's not that you save 25, 30%. Then you have your costs.
Well, we also, the city saves a lot of its fixed costs, right?
Right,
I mean,
exactly.
And then we're going to absorb our employees. The point is, it never got done. But I was pushing for it.
Okay. Time to quiz you.
Okay, great.
You got to pay. You got to know your city. It doesn't have to be from Hialeah. Ready? Your favorite taco place?
Ooh, Tiago's Tacos.
Where?
Well, they're all over now, but they started down south, in Kendall.
Okay. Your favorite hot dog place?
I mean, I like Nathan's.
Is there a Nathan's or?
There's one in Bayside now.
Okay. There's only one hot dog place, Brian. Our better hot dogs.
Okay.
Bird Road, 1,200 hot dogs a day. Okay. Your favorite burger place?
Ooh, I like Fuddruckers.
They have a great burger.
I like with the blue cheese and the barbecue sauce.
Your favorite cowboy movie or cowboy?
I mean, John Wayne.
Okay.
Rio Bravo.
And people don't realize that Hialeah was all cowboys.
Yeah.
Time. By the way, Jose Bose, Chicken Kitchen, Chick-fil-A,
right?
He used to work here.
Okay.
When he was a nobody. Now him and his wife had that big Chick-fil-A. As a kid, your superhero?
I like Batman.
Okay, ready. This is a tough one. Mom's birthday. Not what year?
No, October 6th.
Dad's?
March 25th.
Okay. What does Thanksgiving mean to you in words, not sentences? Quickly.
It's being thankful for this great country.
Wow. Okay. 2 more questions. 3 more. Favorite football team?
Dolphins.
I think they're going to have a great year. Your favorite pizza place?
I like Pizza Scene.
Where's that?
Miami Lakes.
Speak about Miami Lakes. Mayor Sid has great French toast.
Yeah. Mayor's Cafe.
Oh, the French toast is about this big. Your favorite animal?
Well, I'm from Hialeah. I have to say the flamingo.
Yeah. Okay, last question. The magic of the mix. Why will you, when you get elected, be successful?
I'm going to be successful because I'm a hard worker. I've gotten to the place I am now because of hard work, because I understand that this is a great country, and we need fiscal conservatism in the office of tax collector. We need somebody that's going to advocate for the residents the same way that I knocked those 15,000 doors to get elected as a Hialeah council member. That's the same energy I bring to this position. We have a lot of challenges in our community, but I think I'm a very positive, optimistic person. I think with hard work, with good values, good morality, and doing it for the right reasons, I think we're going to get ahead. And this department, the biggest challenge I see is the driver's licenses, but we're going to introduce technology. We're going to work with having a better customer service. It's all about face-to-face human contact. And even though we're 3 million people in Miami-Dade County, I'm ready for the Office of Tax Collector to make it the best that it can be.
Hialeah, what's the population?
It's according to the census, it's 240, but it's really over 300,000.
Yeah, and what city? City Miami's a little bit bigger.
It's closer to 500,000.
And in Miami Beach?
Miami Beach is smaller.
So is Miami Gardens or Hialeah? Which one's bigger?
The second one is Hialeah in the county. Yeah.
All right, so Hialeah is a monster.
It's a monster.
And knocking on every door, it's incredible.
It is.
All right, elections in August?
August 20th for the Republican primary. I'm a Republican candidate for tax collector. And then
early voting's when?
Early voting will ABs come out in just 3 or 4 weeks, absentee ballots, and then early voting.
They come out in 3 weeks?
Yeah, right after the 4th of July.
Wow.
And then we'll do early voting the first 2 weeks of August. We'll have the primary, and then we'll go to the general election where I'll face my Democrat challenger.
Okay, we got an August election. Brian, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Best of luck.
Appreciate it.
Have a great day.
Thank you.